Hello everybody, welcome back to another A Beginner's Guide to. This time we're looking at Miraidon EX, updated for 2024, but the deck list hasn't changed all that much, to be honest, so let's get into it. First off, I'm going to try and change the format of these videos a little bit. We are now using the Limitless deck builder as our presentation model, so hopefully you guys can see all the cards all in one go and actually see what's going on. You can just pick at it and have a look and go, yeah, that's that card, that's that card. I'll also have them displayed when I'm talking about them, so don't worry, they're not going anywhere. So, why would you want to play Miraidon EX? Miraidon EX is one of 4 main meta decks right now that have a positive Lugia and God of War matchup, and I've just been doing a little bit of playtesting with it as well. It's not bad into Dragapult either, which is pretty good. Our biggest flaw with the deck right now is a Raging Bolt Ogerpon list. Now, we run enough gusting options to bully the Ogerpons, but that might not be enough to rely on, so that's where potential cuts may come into this deck. This deck is one of the decks we call a big basic deck. It has a simple game plan, but it's very interesting as well. All you're doing really is making sure whichever attacker you need is powered up, and you're just swinging for those 2 prizes. Pretty much all this deck wants to do is hit for at least 2 prizes. If it can get away with 3, it ain't saying no. So what have we got in terms of matchups? We have positive matchups into God of War, Lugia and Pidgeot Control, and negative matchups into Charizard, which hopefully we'll be seeing less of, Raging Bolt Ogerpon, Dragapult and Lost Zone Box. Now, I don't necessarily personally agree with that. I think any deck that runs small basics or any decks that are setup decks are at risk of falling to Iron Hands. Iron Hands is still the big bad when it comes to setting up and having weaker basic Pokemon in play, so it's still a big card, but the problem with this deck is, I wouldn't necessarily say consistency, it's more energy acceleration, so hopefully there are ways we can find more of that before too long. But this is the list I've settled on currently. This came from, I think, Champions League back in like April or something like that, so this list could probably do with updating, but it's the list I've been having a lot of fun with. Also, all our matchup spreads are on display right now, and they're from Trainer Hill, so thank you very much to Trainer Hill for providing that data. Our typical deck list looks a lot like this. It is 3 Miraidon, a 220 lightning Pokemon with the ability Tandem Unit. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic electric Pokemon, put them onto your bench, shuffle your deck, and the Photon Blaster attack for 220, 2 electric energy, 1 colorless. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. A little bit annoying, but we have plenty of ways to switch these back and forth if needs be. Our next main attacker is Iron Hands EX with 230 HP Pokemon. Arm press 160 damage, 2 electric, 1 colorless, which does come up. It is a very handy attack to have. And amp you very much, 120 electric, 3 colorless. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, take 1 more prize card. It's a great card into the basics that are setting up. Other 2 attackers are Raichu V. It's a basic lightning Pokemon with 200 HP. Fast charge for electric energy. If you go first, you can use this attack during your first turn. Switch your deck for an electric energy card, attach it to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. And Dynamic Spark for 2 electric, 60x. You may discard any amount of electric energy from your Pokemon. This attack does 90 damage for each card you discarded in this way, so a great way to finish off a game if something big is in the active. We also have Raikou V, another 200 HP electric basic Pokemon with the ability Fleet-Footed. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may draw a card. And the Lightning Rondo attack for 20 plus damage, 1 electric, 1 colorless attack. This attack does 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. Most this Pokemon is doing is 220 before any modification. Great little card to just clean up those little annoying Vs that still exist. Oh, is that a 220 V you've got in your active? Not anymore. As for support Pokemon, we actually have quite a few here. We're going to start with Zapdos with the ability Lightning Symbol. Your basic electric Pokemon's attacks, except any Zapdos, do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. New EX with the ability Restart. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. And the attack Genome Hacking for 3 colorless. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack, which does come up. Speaking of things that come up, Squawkabilly EX is another basic Pokemon card. Ability Squawk and Seize. Once during your first turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can't use more than 1 Squawk and Seize ability during your turns. Don't try and load up your bench with Squawkabillies, that'd be silly. But also the massively underrated attack Motivate for 1 colorless, 20 damage. Attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. It doesn't matter if Squawkabilly's stuck in the active. It can poke for 20, which might make the difference on a knockout next turn. Power up another Pokemon in the meantime. It's severely underrated. I think it's great. Onto the non-attackers. Well, I mean, technically Squawkabilly is, but he's great. Radiant Greninja with the ability Concealed Cards. You must discard an energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. Radiant Greninja is an interesting one because I think, like Apex, everybody thinks they have to have 1 Radiant in their deck, otherwise they're going to fall apart. If I was going to be cutting cards in this list for anything else, I think I may start with Radiant Greninja. Concealed Cards has helped once or twice playing Miraidon, but at the same time, you want as much energy as possible in the deck at all times. Like, I feel like concealing cards is kind of difficult to justify sometimes, but I think it's a worthy inclusion for now. Tatsugiri is next with the ability to attract customers. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck, reveal a supporter card you find there, put it into your hand, shuffle the other cards back into your deck. It's a great card combined with Rescue Board. I think it's a great pivot option, just letting you look at those top 6 and go, cool, there's my Arven, play that down, find the cards you need. It's a brilliant little card. And finally, Iron Bundle, which just won me a game. So I'm a big fan of it right now. With the ability Hyper Blower, once during your turn this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. Your opponent chooses the new active Pokemon. If you do, discard this Pokemon and all attached cards. Fantastic little card. Very, very helpful. Like I said, just won me a game, so big fan of Iron Bundle right now. Onto the trainer cards, we'll start with the supporters. We've got a 4-hour Professor's Research, nice and simple. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. No further explanation needed. Arven, search your deck for an item card and a Pokemon tool card, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. A great card to get into the game, especially if you've got it going first. Electric Generator, Forest Seal, Electric Generator, just fire those off and see if you can get that first knockout early. 3 boss orders, because picking down knockouts is important. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. We have 4 Nest Balls, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. Miraidon needs to get away with 2 at most, because we want to find our new Squawkabilly, etc. that aren't electric Pokemon. We can't rely on Miraidon, so 4 Nest Ball makes a lot of sense in this deck. The backbone of the deck, of course, is Electric Generator. We run 4 of these. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Attach up to 2 basic electric energy cards you find there to your bench Pokemon. Bench electric Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle the other cards back in your deck. I think it'd be broken if you could attach it to anything. 1 switch card, just to make sure we're not stuck in the active. Switch your active basic Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do heal 30 damage from the Pokemon, you move to your bench, and I can't tell you how many times that's fixed maths against Dragapult for me. It's been very handy to have. Just one more bit of ball search just in case. Again, this is another consideration for cuts. You can use this card only if you discard 2 other cards from your hand. Search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Our ace spec of choice is Prime Catcher. As mentioned, it is important that we pick our targets for knockouts. The other advantage of Prime Catcher over Boss's Orders, for example, is 1, it's an item card, so of course it's better, but 2, Electric Generator only powers on the bench, so whatever you're wanting to attack with next turn, you are going to have to move whatever's in the active. If there's no easy way to retreat it, Prime Catcher is a 2-for-1 all day long. It's fantastic. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. If you do, switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. A 1-of Lost Vacuum, again to get rid of some of those Bravery Charms and those more annoying stadiums that might block ours, such as Jamming Tower. You can use this card only if you put another card from your hand in the Lost Zone. Choose a Pokemon tool card attached to any Pokemon or any stadium in play and put it into the Lost Zone. 2 rescue boards. The retreat cost of the Pokemon this card is attached to is 1 colorless less. If that Pokemon's remaining HP is 30 or less, it has no retreat cost. Very nice. Not a lot of people pay attention to that second bit of text. 2 Bravery Charm. The basic Pokemon this card's attached to gets 50 plus HP. 1 Forest Seal Stone, allowing our V Pokemon to have access to Star Alchemy. During your turn, you may search your deck for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. 1 Heavy Baton. If the Pokemon this card's attached to has a retreat cost of exactly 4, just say Iron Hands, is in the active spot and is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, move up to 3 basic energy cards from that Pokemon to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. We're finding our tools with the Stadium Town store. Once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for a Pokemon tool card, reveal it, put it into their hand, then that player shuffles their deck. So with Arven and Town store, there is a possibility of finding 2 tools per turn, which is huge. And finally, 16 electric energy to make sure those generators don't miss, and 2 double turbos. It feels very themed deck when you look at it like that, but it's a fantastic deck. So we will have gameplay of this coming out shortly. I think we've got a tabletop stream this evening of recording. I think this video will be coming out tomorrow, so that'll be coming out Tuesday. No, Wednesday. I have no idea what day it is anymore. So we will have Miraidon gameplay coming out very shortly. But if you want to know anything else about this deck, do let me know in the comments and I will try and reply or point you to the right direction, or maybe do another video on Miraidon. I'm trying to expand what I do in these videos, and this is the first step. So hopefully you guys enjoy what you've seen here. Thank you very much for watching as always. I'll see you in the next one. See ya!